TeamLease, that's of course the new IPO that's gotten listed this morning. The start was not that great, but nevertheless the stock right now is holding out pretty well. And we've got Manish Sabharwal, Chairman and co-founder of TeamLease Services, joining us to give us more details about the company as well as the IPO and the capital raising. Mr. Sabharwal, good morning. Thank you so much for joining in. Let's start off with talking about the company. Can you tell us a bit more about TeamLease and your business model?
Yeah, so India's people supply chain is broken, and India's, we have 10 lakh kids joining the labor force every month for the next 20 years. There are three problems: matching, repair and prepare, and TeamLease basically offers solution to all of them. We've hired 14 lakh people in the last sort of 8 to 10 years. We think we can do a multiple of that. And as all the programs come online, Make in India, Skill India, Digital India, Smart City program, ease of doing business, that basically increases the formalization of corporate India. 6.3 crore enterprises only translate to 17,000 companies with a paid-up capital of 10 crores. All of these companies are going to need business services. Business services is a $300 billion market cap industry globally. In India, it's zero. So our sense is that more and more companies will turn to companies like TeamLease to manage their people supply chains.
Morning, Mr. Sabharwal. Now, when it comes to labor laws and regulations, how do you see government risks in the business?
I mean, our companies, 99% of this industry is informal. They are people offering regulatory arbitrage. But the formal sector is only 1%, and that is actually growing because you're seeing companies wanting compliance. They want you to offer Provident Fund, they want you to offer ASI, they want minimum wages. So while there's a lot of regulatory cholesterol in labor laws, which the government is looking at fixing, I don't think anybody disputes that there should be minimum wages, there should be social security, there should be health insurance. So our business is driven by the fact that many companies now want compliance and they want things to improve, and that's really what we're driven by.
Right. And let's talk about the technology front. How is the company positioning itself versus the competition?
I think technology is basically a driver of our business. An outsourcing business can't outsource technology. We build our own technology. We baseline it every year. And as today only 10% of the job seekers who come to us for a job are on the internet or have a smartphone. But I think 2 years from now, it's a fair bet that 90% of them will be able to get it. So technology is the core of the operation. It's at the core of our scalability, and we will see a number of revolutions in the interface over time.
Now, on the inorganic growth front, highlight for us what are your plans with respect to acquisitions?
I mean, we've got to our 2,000 crore plus revenue completely organically, but we are looking at acquisitions either geographically, we're a little weak in the east, we're looking at something in the north, or we're looking at three sort of specializations which are either in IT or in hospitality or in healthcare. So the staffing acquisitions that we make will either be to give us a new vertical, it will be one of the three, or it will be to give us a geographic footprint. But my bias is towards expanding a vertical which will either be in IT, healthcare or hospitality.
Right, and which sectors do you see aiding growth for TeamLease going ahead? Do you think manufacturing and healthcare will be boosting growth for you?
I think, we're the waiter in the restaurant, we're not the chef. We don't decide where jobs are created. The three industries which created TeamLease, financial services, telecom and retail, have been very slow in hiring in the last 5 years. But that's been taken over by e-commerce, by FMCG, by FMCD and everything else. So my sense is that, Make in India is very important because only 10% of India works in manufacturing. I don't think we'll ever get to China's 30%, but Make in India is about taking 10% of the labor force to 20% of the labor force in manufacturing, and that's a very important driver of our growth.
Finally, take us through what are the current EBITDA margins that you enjoy?
Yeah, I think over time we will move to global margins, globally gross margins. So we may not never get to global gross margins, but I think we'll get to the same global net margins. And for me as a company, it's really more important to focus on return on equity. I think first of all, you have to make up your mind whether we're a 2,200 crore company with a 1.5% margin or we're a 120 crore company with a 20% margin, because that's the nature of our business. But my submission is for companies like us, as long as we are frugal with capital and we focus on return on equity, then we will be fine. Investors don't care about absolute margins or absolute profits. They care about how much money you use to produce that profit. So, I mean, our gross block is 5 crores, right? So we only own computers. So I think a return on equity perspective is my primary objective. Obviously, margin expansion will lead to higher return on equity, and we're on track for that.